Welcome to
Separate Bathrooms and other handy marriage tips. I'm like, I don't care. It's just a woman, because it's not the point of the story of what her name is. So that's what I mean by that. I don't mean to be rude.
Okay.
I didn't mean to be rude.
You've come in halfway through a conversation with my wife, telling me
recording that.
Yeah.
Oh God.
She's telling me that sometimes I get off the point. And this is episode 4 of Separate Bathrooms Season 2. Like peaches and cream, coaching a team. Like sand in the sea and birds and the bees. Like an oyster and a pearl and a guy and a girl. What do you got? You got a perfect match. Perfect. You got a perfect match. Yes, and welcome to your host of the show, Mr. Cameron Dado.
Well, there's a little familiar tune and a throwback tune for you all, I must say. Hi there, I'm Ali Dado.
And I'm Cam Dado. I used to host Perfect Match.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you did.
I'm putting the guitar away now, sweetheart. Because it'll get distracting for me.
Well, it was a nice bit of nostalgia there, don't you think?
Yes.
Honey, a little bit of Perfect Match tune. And
yes.
We've actually been talking about this recently. We've noticed that there's been a real trend towards bringing back the old and rebooting shows from the 90s and so on.
Is it a trend, though? Or is it just the fact that we're noticing it? Because I
think it's a trend.
Do you?
I do.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking at the... there's the music tours that are coming up. And there's a Red Hot Summer tour that Hunters and Collectors, James Rain, Baby Animals, to name a few.
Yeah.
You've got reboots of Full House, Roseanne. We saw the 90210 reboot the other night.
Yep.
That was interesting. We thought we'd throw open the doors a bit, throw open the memory banks. I've taken a lot of ginkgo, ready to head down memory lane, see if anything resonates with you.
Well, I have been in memory lane for the past couple of weeks because, as we've mentioned in a previous podcast, that we are moving, so of course we're packing up everything, which is such a pain. But anyway, and you know how as you're packing you can't, well, at least for me, I can't help but go through all my photo albums again, and aren't they a thing of the past, photo albums, because everything else gets stored on your phone or the iCloud, and who knows where they go once they're in the cloud. Though, as I look at all these photographs from our history and way back when we first met, and it really does leave me with such a beautiful feeling. And I remember all those reasons that I fell in love with you for and why I still love you now. And so it's just a really lovely feeling looking back on times.
Yeah, well, I'm going through my office, and there's 8,000 Dolly and Cleo magazines that I have still stashed. A lot of guys my age have the old Playboys and things. I don't. I have the Dolly and Cleo.
You have Dolly.
Yeah,
you do.
And I have several copies of each one.
I think you're in a couple of posters in the middle of those Dollies. Is
That's
that why you've kept them?
Oh, yeah, baby.
Busted.
Actually, there's a whole lot of stuff that I have that's on slides. This is how old I am, honey. There's slides.
Yeah.
Remember,
Yeah.
Of course you remember slides. You were a little kid then.
But a wee baby.
But slides and a lot of hard copy photographs as well, not just... Yeah. But it's funny with Facebook. Facebook pops up. You're not on Facebook as much as I am, but they'll do a memory from 3 years ago.
Right.
And the feeling that comes across from that... often, because they're usually good stuff you post on Facebook because you want everyone to see the good part of your life. It's good. There was a study done when you said you wanted to talk about nostalgia. I just jumped online, and there's a bulletin, a personality and social psychology bulletin, and they talked about nostalgia, and they're saying that when we experience nostalgia, we tend to feel happier, we have higher self-esteem, we feel close to loved ones, and feel that life has more meaning. And they found that nostalgia can produce increased optimism about the future. I reckon that's pretty cool.
Interesting. Yeah.
So, why don't we talk about some of those moments when we first met, when we used to be famous?
Oh, my God. All right, honey, let me give you a little interview here then.
Since we started with the perfect match theme, are you going to interview me?
Perfect match. Yeah, why not?
Right.
Why not? Now, Cameron Dado, you made a rather large splash on TV. Perfect Match was Channel 10, right?
Correct.
Yep. So...
I was 21.
21, I know.
Just.
I know. And do you have funny memories from Perfect Match or during that time of your life?
Well, I do. Some of them are inappropriate for today. You can't sort of talk about... I mean, we used to play... I had a wonderful floor manager, Kyle Crosling, and he's no longer with us. But Kyle was 19, I was 21, and we had so much fun together. People in the business who you know, with the Shiny Floor shows, Kyle... Shiny Floor shows being the live TV shows, the big ones. Kyle was the floor manager for a lot of those ones, so a lot of people know who Kyle was, and we just had a ridiculous amount of fun together. Mostly in the dressing room afterwards, eating pizza and drinking beer, talking about the different people that we had.
The contestants that were on.
Yeah, and I mean we had the celebrity contestants. Guy Pearce came on.
Do you really?
Yes, he did.
I don't remember that.
Guy Pearce was on it. Phyllis Diller, the American comedian.
I do vaguely remember that. Yeah.
She was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Craig McLachlan came on, kept his shirt on. There was a bunch of Neighbours, a lot of Neighbours actors came in.
And I remember you and Kerry Friend used to do like crazy dress-up days. Like one time you came out as Paul McCartney from the
Yes, I was Paul
Beatles.
McCartney, sang Love Me Do. We should put these up on
Elvis.
Instagram. I was Fat Elvis.
Fat Elvis?
Yeah, I did Fat Elvis.
Oh,
I also
okay.
did 1969 reboot Elvis, the CBS, pre-CBS leather Elvis.
Oh, right.
That was good. I did Frankenstein with a wax forehead that kept falling across down my eyes and into my nose. We're pushing it up. But yeah, so there was one moment which was not so much funny, but interesting for me because the only daddos I'd ever known in my life were my cousins, and there was a contestant on there, and her name was Sue Daddo, and she came on and she picked a bloke called Harrison Cameron. So I had Cameron and Daddo in front of me, sending them off to Tangalooma Resort.
That's crazy.
For a dirty weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
They were going to dig some ditches and...
Who knows what they were going to do, honey?
Yeah. Lie in the mud, because that's what dirty weekends are all about.
Oh, right. I see where you're going with that. So that was... I was doing Perfect Match then. That was sort of 1987. And that was when you were at your peak... Well, you were doing very well modelling at that time.
80... Yeah, I was 17. Yeah, I was sort of just beginning in a way. But yeah, the Dolly magazines had started to roll in.
Yeah.
And which was surprising in a lot of ways. And
what do you mean surprising?
Well, I just didn't expect to... I never expected to be on a cover of a magazine. That was very exciting.
Yeah.
And then to be on multiple covers was really, really exciting.
So how old were you when you did your first cover?
I was 17.
It's pretty young, isn't it?
Yeah, and that was, Dolly magazine, photographer called Graham Shearer. And, yeah, I was very, very young. Very young.
So, and there wasn't that many magazines around, so that you got high visibility. There was only one or two of those sort of magazines there.
Well,
so anyone that wanted that style of magazine, you bought Dolly or you bought Clio or Cosmo.
Yeah, or Cosmo. Yeah, and then there was Harper's and Vogue, which I was too young because I looked very young too, even though I was young and I looked young. I did do a Cosmo. 2 Cosmopolitan covers when I was quite young, and I look at those covers now and I go, oh, I look like such a baby. But I always remember that was really exciting too, because that was sort of a little bit of a step into an older world for me as the Dolly cover girl. And I remember the makeup artist and the editor just fell in love with my eyebrows. They were going, oh my God, look at her eyebrows. They're so great. That's when bushy eyebrows were in.
And they made a comeback, though, didn't they?
Back.
Yeah, that girl with the lion on her thumb or something. She's got the bushy eyebrows.
Yeah. Cara Delevingne. Unfortunately, my eyebrows have not come back. Half of them have gone. But, or at least...
Bro gain.
No,
eyebrow gain.
They've travelled to my chin.
Oh.
Let's put it that way. So...
Wow, so your hair's not actually falling out. It's just growing in different places.
It's just moving in a different direction.
Oh, welcome to my world.
Though I do remember, I remember being fascinated because I'd never been complimented on my eyebrows before. And sure enough, those 2 covers I did highly featured my very well bushy eyebrows.
Well, aside from bushy eyebrows, are there any memories that, because you've told me some great stories from your modelling days. Any fun ones that you care to share?
Well, I think something that I never did a lot of was catwalk. I was actually quite on the short side for a model, being 5'7.5" because the half really mattered. And I only ever did 2 catwalks in my whole life. But I remember doing one, and I actually really loved it because I had previously been a dancer, and which I always talk about, I love dancing. I love music. And so to me, catwalk was like, it was a cross of modeling and dancing almost. And I remember doing this one catwalk, and I got into the music and strutted my stuff, and then came off, and this lovely older lady came up to me and she goes, "Oh, darling," she said, "clearly you were having a good time up there. You'd never done catwalk before because you're the only one laughing and smiling the entire time, right?" And I was like, yeah, I guess that's true. Because you're meant to have that really, like that very sour kind of you're not meant to have any expression when you do.
Is that what they teach?
Yeah,
like say,
because it's meant to be just about the clothes. You're not meant to be drawing any attention to yourself. And there's me like, whoa, yeah, smiling and laughing because it's music. And they're like, "Oh, darling, you were cute, but no, you'll never do catwalk again."
And that was the truth.
And that was the truth. I never did it again.
They rang your agent.
Maybe they'll need like clothing for 50+ women. I'll do it.
But you won't be able to help not getting into it.
I know.
Because you can't do that face without laughing. You'd crack yourself up just trying to pull that model face.
I would. I'd have to think of something really sad to do it.
And then what I really want to see you do is do the model strut, where they do that weird thing where they push their hips out forward.
Right.
And sort of let their shoulders drag behind.
Yeah.
It's like a cartoon with the legs going forward. It's like a John Cleese silly walk.
Yeah, yeah. And you cross over, like your legs are crossing over your midline.
But honey, that to me makes them stand out more for looking ridiculous. I'm looking at them walking than the clothes. But I guess that's why I don't get invited to opening night runway shows, because they're going, why do these models look so, why don't they walk normally?
Yeah, it's a weird thing, isn't it? It's a very specific walk, and you have to audition that walk. If you're going to be in catwalk, you have to audition and see, can she do the walk?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want better sleep? It's time to toss out your memory foam and upgrade to an Awara, the organic luxury hybrid mattress with Sri Lankan latex wrapped around coil springs to provide contour and a touch of bounce for supportive sleep throughout the night. The best part? A 365-night trial, no questions asked. If you don't like it, we'll take it back. You can't go wrong with free shipping, free returns, and a forever warranty. AWARASleep.com and use code HEALTH for $350 off. Plus, we will plant 100 trees with your purchase.
So anyway, there's been a few things on my Instagram, and I think you've talked about this too, as we were talking about rebooting and everything. And I know a couple of people have said, reboot Models Inc. People would love to see that, speaking of modelling, see that rebooted. Though of all your shows, and you have done a lot, probably more than most people realise, what would be, I know this is hard, if you had to choose one, what would you choose as your favourite reboot for you to be in again?
If I was to choose one?
Yeah, could you do that, or is that too hard?
I would love to. I did a show, this Boney, playing the detective who'd been brought up by Aboriginals. And look, I'm going into 2, because I love doing Boney. That was a great Australian show.
Yeah.
That I feel like we could have done so much more with it. I think we made 14 episodes of that. The show that followed Models Inc. that I shot in Canada called FX The Series, which was based on the movies with Brian Brown and Brian Dennehy. Oh, I could jump back into that any day, any time. That was truly a gift of a role for an actor to play, because I played a guy in the movies who was a special effects guy, and he helped out the NYPD solve their crimes. So I got to dress up in different characters, play different characters, use prosthetic makeup, teeth. I had all the greatest technology to use. We had a PDA. That's a cool thing. We had a PDA in 97. We were
What's
doing
a PDA?
Personal Data Assistant. Your mobile phone, your iPhone.
Right.
So it was an iPhone back in 97. And the guy that developed it was a NASA guy that was working with Microsoft to develop this new thing. And I'm like, is this going to happen? He's like, yeah, it's going to happen. I wish I bought shares in it. We wouldn't be doing this podcast. I mean, we'd be living in the Bahamas somewhere on our own island.
Did that show in Australia?
FX?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it did. I'm pretty sure it did.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where.
You can check it out online. It's there. FX the series, and then be a challenge to grow my hair back that long, and certainly it's not that color anymore. But
that's what dye is for, right?
Yeah, it is. But you know what? Unlike the 90210 reboot, I don't think I would attempt to go back to the way I looked at that time. I think I'd do it as I look now.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd do the grey hair thing.
Yeah. And it's funny, you have actually a great memento from those days, which are in fact these fake teeth, and they are like the full on. What do you call them? We call them the Billy.
Oh, they're like Billy Bob teeth.
Billy Bob teeth.
They're the Billy Bob teeth, but they were before Billy Bob. The plastic ones that you can buy at the costume shop.
Yeah, these are proper teeth. They were molded
these are
from
acrylic. These are acrylic. They're made from teeth material.
They look like real teeth, but just the worst kind of like sticky outy, grey, like gross. And our eldest daughter Lolo loved them. We have that. Speaking of nostalgia, we have so many photographs of her as a 2-year-old, 3-year-old walking around in those.
Would
teeth.
she mind if we put them up on, like, put them up on the Facebook?
We'll have to check. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. But gosh, it was the cutest thing. It was hilarious. I think a few people tried those teeth on.
Yeah, we had a few drunken nights at home, and different people put whoever's willing. We dropped them in the disinfectant and putting them in. But they always, they change the shape of your face.
Yes, yeah.
But they actually change the way you talk. So you put in the Billy Bob teeth, suddenly you're talking like this. Or they're very up, it's the English person with these messed up teeth.
Oh, yeah, right? Yeah. So fun.
So enough about FX. What about Guess What?
Guess What?
Ali did a show in the late 80s, an afternoon show called Guess What? Tell us about that show. Because that was a great show.
It was so sweet. It was one of those amazing fortunes that I was given the opportunity to do this sweet little kids show called Guess What? I don't know how long it ran for. Probably, I think I was on it for a year. I had to travel to Adelaide, so it was quite a lot to do back and forth. But it was with this lovely guy called Andrew Fife. And Andrew Fife was the cartoonist for Hey Hey It's Saturday. Very quick. And he'd come up with these crazy funny cartoons.
He had a camera stuck on his pen. Remember that?
Yeah, exactly.
And they would show him actually as he was doing it with this camera, this lipstick camera. That was before their time, really,
It was
wasn't it?
kind of like, it was a little bit like, which I always loved as a kid, was Mr. Squiggle. Oh my God, I loved Mr. Squiggle. I used to sit there fascinated by how, one little squiggle, and then he'd be drawing, and then all of a sudden then he'd flip it upside down, and it was, a flower with a hat on and a cane. I'm like, how did he do that as a kid?
And Miss Jane was there beside him.
Miss Jane. So with Guess What? He was there doing the exact same thing. And, and it was great that he came from, because Hey Hey It's Saturday, he'd done a lot. Speaking of nostalgia, how about Hey Hey It's Saturday? That was a big show back then.
Well, that show went for 20 years. They've had a crack, or plus actually, and they've had a crack at rebooting it.
Have they? When did they try to reboot that?
When we were away in America, they've had a few cracks at that. But it just, I think. I don't know, maybe it was a bit tired. I think
better left in its time sort of thing back then.
Yeah, and
alone.
I think when you go back to stuff, sometimes it doesn't match the memory that you had.
Yeah.
as well and go, oh, there's still, it's good, but yeah, nah. Did you do Red Faces? And
I did do Red Faces. I did do one time I sat on the panel. You did it a few times, didn't you?
Yeah, and I sung on there a few times. One of the memories I had there was a big one, actually. Wilbur Wilde was a saxophone player.
Oh, yep.
With Red Simons on guitar, and they had a great band, really good band. And I grew up with Skyhook's music, so to be playing with Red was really big. And again, I'm only 21, 22 doing that show. And Wilbur Wilde wrote a horn line for a song off my first album. Now, so there I am playing with Willie and with Red, and it reminded me, halfway through the song, I'm reminded that when I was about 14 years old, I was at a Boy Scout jamboree somewhere in Victoria, thousands of Boy Scouts from all over the world. Willie's band, Old 55, played with Frankie J. Holden out the front. And Wilbur Wilde, that's another message, Spielberg's chasing you, honey.
It's your phone, so I'm not sure.
Someone made a rookie mistake. I never have my ringer on my phone.
Oh, dear.
Anyway, I'll get back to the story. Wilbur Wilde turned to the Scouts and pulled his pants down. He brown-eyed everyone.
Oh, my.
And I'd never seen anything like it. It was like an old bull's tackle hanging between his legs.
You can't say this on the podcast.
Yes, I can.
No,
because it was,
you can't.
And halfway through the song, and all I can think of is
Cameron
Wilbur
Daddo.
Wilde mooning.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
We're not talking about
It's
that.
going
No,
in.
it's not
So
going
that's,
in.
yes, that's and that's what happened, and it almost threw me for my song. I had to tell him afterwards.
Well, it's thrown me. Let's just say that. Let's move on. So anyway,
thanks, Willie.
I was thinking too about, my childhood shows, which were Hogan's Heroes, HR Puffin Stuff. Oh, I love that show. What about if they rebooted Gilligan's Island? Do you think that would work?
I don't think
I
it would
loved
work.
Gilligan's Island.
So did I.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
but it's like remember they've gone Return to Gilligan's Island, and they made those telly movies, and they they were interesting, but they weren't as funny as the show.
Do you remember? I keep seeing this. Oh my God! So Brady Bunch, of course, we grew up on the Brady
Bunch.
Bunch.
How many reboots of that have they done?
So many reboots. But then what they did the Brady Bunch Variety Hour, and there you would have Mr. and Mrs. Brady.
Yeah, they were great
singing songs, and then the kids singing too, and. Yeah, that was pretty wild.
My favourite episodes of the Brady Bunch were the ones where they sung, you gotta keep on dancing all through the night.
Yeah.
And doing the moves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We should get up and do the moves.
Happy Days. I loved Happy Days.
Yeah. And they all to look at them now, I kind of go, gee, they were fun, and you can sit there and veg for 25 minutes and watch them on the telly. But I think rebooting those sort of things, they've sort of passed it, and the audience has gotten too sophisticated now.
Yeah,
really, for that.
probably.
You were talking about HR Puffin Stuff.
Yeah.
And how that would go, because a lot of those shows, like there was another show called Captain Pugwash, which I used to watch. They've said those shows, the writers were on acid when they're writing them. They're so trippy, and there was a lot of different sort of psychedelic sort of overtones with that.
Yeah.
Pugwash was one that they showed, and there was a character called Master Mate. So there was a lot of double entendres. There was Seaman Staines, who was on there, Master Mate. There was Tom the Cabin Boy, also known in Monty Python as Roger the Cabin Boy. You're just looking at me.
I am. I'm just looking at you. Because
you
just
love me.
Take it down to some other level.
But we're talking about rebooting, and would they hold up?
Yeah, but you're going anyway. I can see where you'd like things to be rebooted, and it's not where I would like to see things rebooted.
Okay. You don't miss, Roger the Cabin Boy, or?
I don't remember Roger the Cabin Boy. I don't. So what I actually do want to share is one of my all-time favorite videos of Cam, and we are going to upload this onto our Facebook page, Separate Bathrooms. And me and my kids have watched this multiple times. And it's, what was the name of this? It was Marty the Monster.
Marty the Monster from I believe the show only went to Melbourne. It was the morning cartoon show with Daryl Cotton and Anne-Marie.
Yeah.
And they had Marty the Monster.
Yeah.
And it went for hours. It went all Saturday.
Yeah.
All Saturday.
And there's this clip they have. It's kind of alarming at the same time what this guy is doing to this enormous big red kangaroo who, as you know, they are as strong as anything, like way stronger than human beings. And he says he's a proper boxing kangaroo, and he takes this kangaroo out, and apparently he goes to schools and he wrestles with this kangaroo. So they bring this live enormous kangaroo into the studio.
It's Rags, isn't it? Is that his name?
It's Rags. And Rags starts to beat the crap out of not only the guy, but Marty the Monster, knocks Marty the Monster on his back. They call in Cam. Cam's, you're no older than 19, right?
Yeah, I was doing the kids show at that point, before Perfect
So young. And you are absolutely and utterly terrified of this kangaroo, and they want you in on it. They want you in, having to shake his hand, and you are completely in sheer terror.
Yeah, and I actually didn't realise, when you go on a TV show like that, you've got to say yes. They'll bring you in. It's a variety show, right? So if they bring you in, you never say no to anything that they're asking you to do, because it's just this straight up live entertainment. It was live to air, that's right. And Daryl Cotton's standing there going, come on, Cam, get in there. And it's the last thing I wanted to do. It's early in the morning, freezing.
Clearly it was the last thing.
Winter.
And then some 2-year-old child runs from the audience into, it was so dangerous. And then how this guy is teasing this kangaroo, it just is mayhem. So that is a video we have to upload.
Yeah, I think what we'll upload it. I think the bit that Al's talking about is at about 5 minutes 30. I think the actual segment's around 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes of this guy.
Maybe we can edit it.
Yeah,
a little
bit.
I
don't know how to do that. I'll just share it off YouTube or something like that. But
so
it's about 5 minutes in, I think. But they just went on, and the guy's ragging on Rags, and Rags is beating Marty the Monster, and he kicked him in the cojones.
That's right. Yeah.
Anyway, you got to check it out. It's pretty funny. We'll put it up.
Hilarious.
We'll put it up. I guess that's the point of it, isn't it? The just this feeling of nostalgia, and that it is good to go into nostalgic moments in your life. But just back to that study that I read, I thought this was really interesting. They go, if you feel your motivation flagging, recall personal milestones or past achievements in order to reinvigorate your energies. You stay focused and you achieve your current goals through nostalgia, getting back into those moments where you were successful. So you can actually use nostalgia as a tool. And I don't know about you, but I've often thought about work on Smooth FM and how successful Smooth has become. And often that's because I think of the music that we play, and it's this music that not only is today's music, but we play a lot of stuff from the past too, from the 50s, 60s, 70s and 80s and 90s and noughties. But those songs inspire memories, and often it's good ones. And even if it's not so good ones, it still makes you feel alive.
Yeah, does make you feel something for sure. Yeah.
That's really important, actually. Make you feel something. Because I think a lot of people go through moments, especially in this day, where you don't feel anything. You feel a little numb to stuff. And you want to listen to or have an experience where you actually feel something.
Yeah.
It's great. They also talked about creating new memories and new traditions. Keep these things alive because, as it says, make deposits into the nostalgia bank that you can draw on when you need a boost in the future. What happens today will become the memories you hold forever.
That's right. So in 40 years' time, we can listen to this podcast back and go, remember when we did a podcast?
Yeah, remember we did a podcast and we were packing tapes, and here's the tape.
Oh, don't.
Remember that sound? Oh, here we go, another box.
Oh, yeah.
And the dog runs out of the room.
Yeah, and you take everything back to some dirty sex level.
Yes. Just while I got the gaffer tape, honey, you know what we're going to do.
Oh, put it away.
Okay, that's a really annoying sound.
It really is,
sorry.
actually.
Okay, we're putting it away. I will get back to taping boxes now, I think.
Yes, back to it for sure. If you've got, if you have memories, shows, movies, music that you love, send us a message on Facebook. I'd love to hear about some of your favourite memories, some of your favourite shows, or what you'd like to see or rebooted. I'd be interested in that too. So hit us up on Facebook.
Yeah, Separate Bathrooms, or Instagram at Ali Dado and at Cameron Dado.
Yeah.
Yeah. Till then.
See you later.
Thanks for being here.
All right, bye-bye.
Hi, this is Brooke Devard from Naked Beauty. Are you tired of feeling housebound? I sure am. Break free with the new Unbound cordless auto curler from Conair. It's a high-performance auto curler that's rechargeable and gives you up to 60 minutes of cord-free runtime. Just think of all of the incredible hair looks you can create in 60 minutes, unbound, away from your wall. Don't get tied down by cords. Love your look, live unbound. Check it out at conair.com and search Unbound.